Hello, you amazing creatives. Today in the studio, we're going to work on another episode of Alternative Surfaces to Yupo, and that is going to be home decor. The things we're going to work on today are bathroom accessories. You only need a few supplies: alcohol inks, some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and the accessories themselves are all that's required to work on these projects. And then the optional are Posca pens, rhinestones, alcohol ink pen, for lack of a better term, makeup sponges, and micro applicators. And we're going to work on a couple of projects like these. There's a bathroom cup, and here is a toothbrush holder and bathroom cup combo. So let's start with the toothbrush holder with the cup. And just so you know, I have sped this up to 1.8 times faster than normal. So let's work on metal, plastic, and acrylic, which are all combined in this single toothbrush holder. I thought that this would be a great toothbrush holder to do since it combines so many different substrates. So we're going to start out applying a little alcohol ink in pink. It's Senorita Magenta. And we're going to do, I think it's Stream and Wild Berry. And I started using a makeup sponge to dab the alcohol ink around on this toothbrush holder. And it worked really well at first until the makeup sponge got almost kind of gummy-like and started falling apart. So if you're not going to be doing a whole lot of work with it and just need something to blend some of your alcohol inks together a little bit, a makeup sponge works really well. I just cut it in half and went to town blending my alcohol inks. It worked really well. So in this video, I normally show you the whole process from beginning to end. And this time I thought I would cut a lot of that out, a lot of the repetitiveness out, and just show you basically what I've done. So let's work on the stem of the toothbrush holder so that it matches the top. And this is just the metal part. We've got two additional parts we still need to work on. But I wanted to turn the metal part into something that matched the stand and the cup part. So I went ahead and used alcohol ink on the metal. So now we're going to apply the same colors to the base, which is made of acrylic. It's that real strong acrylic. So we're going to apply some Senorita Magenta again and some Stream and let those kind of run together. We're going to take some 91% isopropyl alcohol and spray that over the inks that we had just put on the toothbrush holder, just to get things moving and grooving. I think I say that in every video that I do. But we want something that's going to help the inks kind of spread around the toothbrush holder and kind of groove together. So I'm going to use the makeup sponge and finish blending everything together and finish dabbing it all around the outside of this toothbrush stand. And it's turning out really nicely, but you can see some of what I'm wiping off with the makeup sponge is extra ink, and some of it are little pieces of the makeup sponge that are already falling apart. That's why I say makeup sponges work really well if you have a little bit of blending to do, but if you need to use them on a big project, I would either be ready to switch out your makeup sponges frequently, or I would find something else to use to blend things together, because they're just not a good option for long-term use at all. But they work just fine on my little toothbrush holder. So I wanted to make sure that I got the top and the outside of this little toothbrush holder stand covered. I really didn't care about the bottom, so I wasn't worried about that. But it's done a pretty good job of covering that little stand, the little base. So now we're going to spray some Senorita Magenta all over this cup. I love that color. That's probably one of my favorite colors in alcohol inks. Besides that, it's a fun name to say. Senorita Magenta. Come on, you know that you're saying it with me. I'm not the only one that's going, Senorita Magenta. You know you're saying it with me. Don't give me that look. You know that you are. So we popped some stream on there also, so the colors can mix together and form the beautiful purple that happens when you mix pink and blue together. And now I'm going to use a paper towel to blot some of the excess ink up with. And that way there's not quite so much ink on the cup, but there's enough that it's turned it a lovely shade of that purple, and you've got some highlights of blue and pink in there also. So I'm just going to use the remainder of the ink that landed on my nonstick craft mat, and I'm just going to use that to kind of pounce around on the outside of the cup, just to give it a little bit different texture in some areas, but stick with the same color combination. So we will finish that up. And the cup looks pretty good. I think it's a beautiful array of colors. So let's do something a little bit different, and let's add some stream and some 91% alcohol and get those colors just moving over the outside of the cup. You can see how they're just kind of, gravity's just pulling the colors down. So we'll go ahead and add a couple more drops. A little bit more of the 91% alcohol sprayed on top. That really helps to get things flowing and moving. So if you ever are trying to put alcohol ink down, whether it's on a curved surface or a vertical surface, or if it's even just on a piece of paper, like a piece of Yupo horizontally, you can go ahead and spray it with some 91%, and that'll help you get some flow to your inks. It'll help your inks blend together and move and flow instead of just sitting in one spot. So now we've added some wild berry, and we're getting that to move all over the cup. And basically what we're ending up with is a couple stripes of color on the bottom half of that cup. And I'm doing this real organically. I'm not trying to get the colors to go in a real strict line. I'm just letting them flow the way they want to. So let's put everything back together. Put the cup back on top. And I decided it needed a little something extra. So I got out my white Posca pen, which writes over alcohol ink beautifully, and I started drawing some polka dots. And I wanted this to follow the same organic line that the colors followed. So I wasn't real careful about spacing or about doing them in an exact line. And then I put my little 3-dot decorations all over that cup too, making sure with the ink and with the little white Posca decorations to do it down far enough on the cup that if someone uses the cup, their lip isn't going to come in contact with the Posca pen or with the alcohol inks. This is more just a decor piece, and it actually, that cup functions as a cover for your toothbrushes, so you don't even have to use it as a cup. But I thought it turned out cute with those little white polka dots. So now let's focus on a bathroom cup. And this is just a plain old white plastic bathroom cup that everybody has in their bathroom. And I put little drops of color on my felt. And here I'm adding some of the piñata brass. And I'm just dabbing the colors all over the bathroom cup with my applicator. Very, very easy to do, and I love the results that you get. And if you notice, if you just dab it randomly, but not in too many places and not over where you've already dabbed, you'll get larger blooms. But if you can keep dabbing over the same spot, or you keep dabbing close together, you'll wind up with smaller little particles of alcohol ink that will bloom into smaller little designs. You can really see it there. Oops, I got a hair or something on here I'm trying to get off. No worries. But see how you can tell where I've where I've gone over it and you get a different look when I've gone over it several times rather than just hitting it once or twice. You can really tell where I've done that. And you get a different look when it dries. So I like a variation of the two looks. And in order to do something a little different with this, I was doing this in the fine tip end of the pen, the alcohol ink blending pen, but I accidentally picked this up and began using the brush tip. That's why this one flower is going to be gargantuous compared to all of the other flowers that I've put on here. Oopsie. But it's okay because you can see this one better than you can see the other ones, I think, for demonstration purposes. But you can see where I'm drawing a flower with the alcohol ink blending pen. That's removing the alcohol ink that I had already put down. So it's very easy to do. And then I just take once I've gone around on the alcohol ink with the blending pen, I just scribble it off on a piece of paper just to get the ink off and then go back over my design again until I get it as clear as I want to get it. And I just put a little heat activated rhinestone in the middle and used my little hot fix tool and adhered the rhinestone in the middle of the flower, and it looks so cute. That rhinestone for some reason looks pink in this video. They're not pink, they are AB coated crystals, which means they've got almost a rainbow of colors in them. They're not just the plain white crystal. And I thought that would look nice with the colors on this cup. Kind of like seashell beachy colors is what that reminds me of. But now I'm back to using the fine point end on my blender pen, my alcohol ink pen. And I'm going over the design. And as I go over the design a little bit, I scribble the ink off on that index card just to get the extra ink off of the blending pen so the alcohol ink can activate again and we can get the white background to show through. So there are a couple of the little rhinestones done, and then I wound up adding some rhinestones that aren't inside flowers, and I think that cup turned out super cute. I don't know why it's sideways, but something happened. So now I'm going to do a set of containers. It's a 4-piece set. It has a soap dispenser, a container, a toothbrush holder, and a tray. And I had a hard time coming up with 4 different ideas, but I think we got it covered. So what I'm doing now is using a little bundle of Q-tips that I made. I just took 5 Q-tips and wrapped some tape around them to keep them together. Unfortunately, I didn't make the cotton buds level with each other, so that made this a little more challenging than it needed to be, but that's okay, it still worked. But if you're going to make these flowers, I highly recommend making sure that your cotton buds are level with each other before you tape them together and start making these flowers, because it will make a big difference in how easy it is to make the flowers. So I'm just taking the cotton buds and pressing them toward the outside of the soap dispenser. And as I go up, I'm making a smaller impression with the ink so that it gets skinnier as it goes up to the top and kind of curves off to one side. I love these little flowers. They're so cute. So I just keep pouncing the ink on. It's a little more difficult since my cotton buds are not level. But I just keep pouncing them on there. And now we're going to use a different color. Using one of those little weld palettes. It doesn't matter how many wells you have. The one I have happens to have 6. But just put some ink in there and then dip your bunch of Q-tips or your cotton buds in there. And it makes it so easy to do this technique. So easy. I love techniques that are easy. And this one falls in that category, and you get really nice results. So we have the pink flowers and the blue flower. And before I go on any further, I noticed that I got some little stray Q-tip marks. So all I'm going to do is take a Q-tip and put some 91% isopropyl alcohol on it and rub off where those stray marks got on my soap dispenser. Very easy to just rub that off. And then I dried it real quick with the other end of the Q-tip. But it's super easy to clean up any mistakes that you accidentally make. So going back, I've got the two pink flowers and the blue flower, but they just needed something. They needed a little extra punch. So I just took the same colored inks that I had been working with and added those to the flowers that I had already done. So to the two pink flowers, I added some blue ink, and to the blue flower, I'm going to add some pink ink here in just a second. And I think it really spices things up. It really adds some dimension. And we love us some dimension. Whoop, whoop. My dog is driving me crazy. So I'm adding some pink to the blue. And I really do like the dimension that it brings out in those flowers. Good grief, having dogs is a lot of work sometimes. So let's squeeze a little green. And before I do that, I'm going to show you how easy it is to clean up your weld palette if you have a color in there that you're done with or you don't want to use anymore. Just spray a little alcohol in there, either with your needle nose bottle or your spray bottle, and wipe it out with a paper towel, and you're good to go to add a new color. So in this case, I've added green for the stems, and I'm just going to draw 3 flower stems on there real quick and call that done. So now let's look at the container. And all this is a taller container with a lid. Pretty simple and straightforward. I'm going to use Valencia, Dandelion, and good old Purple Twilight to create my next flowers. And I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do these flowers. I had a picture in my mind, but wasn't quite sure how I was going to actually get them on the surface of the container. So I wound up taking a micro applicator and drawing the flowers on there. And like I said, I got rid of just the repetitiveness, so this set of flowers will move pretty quickly. But that's okay. You guys don't need to see me continually draw circles. I think y'all have that covered. And now I'm just dabbing, just little tiny circles, just dabbing the ink on there around in the purple circle, and it adds some texture to that purple outer ring of the first flower. So we'll put on some dandelion and fill that all in. And through the magic of video, it's done. And we're going to add the Valencia to the middle of the flower. And it's pretty, but it's just lackluster. It's missing something. So I'm going to add some more ink to the purple ring around the outside of the flower. And I know it's really difficult to see the purple dots that I put inside the purple, but in real life, you'll have to trust me on this, it really does add some dimension and texture. So now I'm doing the same thing with the yellow ink, the yellow ring. But it's still kind of lackluster. So I know what we need. We need a little poppy field to save the day. So I got out the small micro applicator before I had been using my larger micro applicators and added some little poppy field dots around in that yellow circle. And I think it adds quite a bit to that little flower. And this is the same 6 weld palette that I had used for the last flowers with the cotton buds. So you can see that I cleaned it up and had no problems. It was really easy to reuse. So when you're tired of the colors that are in there, just use alcohol to spray it down, use a paper towel to wipe it out, and you're good to go. You're good as new. So now we're drawing the yellow outer circle of another flower. We're just switching the colors up, making them a couple different sizes. And then we'll use Valencia to make the next inner circle. And on the inside will be some purple twilight. How easy was that? Very simple flower. And you could add petals on the outside either with the micro applicator or with the Posca pen. Doesn't matter. But if you wanted to, you could add some petals. I did not add petals because, like I've said before, these are really just creative ideas to get your juices flowing. They're not really finished projects. When I'm done with this video, I'll probably go back. My daughter just moved out on her own and needs things like this for her bathroom. So I'll probably go back and work on them a little more and add a little more character and a little more finishing details to these pieces before I give them to her. But they're simple and they're cute. At least I think they're cute. You could think that they're butt ugly. That's okay too. It's no worries. But my she just turned 20, in fact, a week ago tomorrow. So my 20-year-old daughter has pretty different taste from what I have. Hopefully she will like these as well, but I will go back in and do some more work on them before I call them finished. But I do hope that I'm giving you some project ideas and some different things that you can use alcohol inks on besides Yupo. Everybody complains that Yupo is the only surface you can use inks on, and that's just not true. Okay. So we're going to add our final color to that third flower. We're going to put some yellow in the middle. And you can see on the green stems that I drew some leaves on the stems. These are the only flowers that I've put on any of these that actually have leaves on the stems. But just a very simple leaf. Just a very simple mark to give the impression that there are leaves on there. I think those are cute. Very different than my normal style. But like I said, you can always go back in and add petals or, change I call these lollipop flowers. You could always change the colors of the lollipop flowers. You could add the 3 dots like I've done. But I like how simple they are. And I'm just using this to mop up some of the green ink that got around the outside of the canister. It's so easy to clean up mistakes. It really is. So now let's look at our other toothbrush holder. On this one, the bottom comes out, and I'm just going to squirt some 91% alcohol all over the front of this toothbrush holder. And I'm just squirting the inks that I'm using randomly. And the things that I love, the thing I love about these inks is that this is Ranger's new line of inks. They just came out with them. In fact, I just saw a video on them done by Tim Holtz at Creativation 2020. These were just made available. They just became available within like the last, I want to say, week or so. But I already got my hands on some. So I wanted to show you what a couple of the new colors are. And I can't tell you exactly what they're called because I don't remember. But I will list the brand new colors in the description box below. So make sure you check there. I think that pink is called Fiesta, but I'm not sure. I think the blue is Glacier. The purple may be Vineyard. And I'm not sure what that greenish color is. I want to say Mojito, but I don't think that that's Mojito. I think that that is another color. So when you get it all over your nonstick craft mat, alcohol inks clean up so easy. Just spray a little alcohol spray a little alcohol and use a paper towel to wipe it off and you're good to go again. So I've got my little white Posca pen out with the ultra fine nib on it. The fine nib, which is the one I normally use, was just too big to be able to draw these flowers. So this is the one with the ultra fine nib on it. And I find if I draw these daisy type flowers and I go perpendicular when I make the petals, that the flower just comes out more evenly for some reason. So there's a tip for you that doesn't even have to do with alcohol inks. So now that I've created the outline of this daisy, I'm just going to go around the petals a couple of times so they really stand out. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to make a stem. Beautiful. Absolutely darling. So let's make another kind of flower on this side. Make one that reminds me of Queen Anne's lace. I think those are so cute. And make a little stem for that flower. And we'll draw one more so that each of our vessels in this 3-piece set, well, the 4-piece set, but the 3 containers, each of the vessels has 3 flowers on it. So we've traced around that outside of that flower a couple of times. And we'll create a center. Make some little marks and create another stem. Those are so cute. We'll put the bottom back in and look, it's a toothbrush holder once again. Now we'll work on the last piece, which is the tray. And I think it's so cute that all 3 of these pieces fit inside this little tray like they do. Or you can take the 3 pieces out and just use the tray on its own to store your watch or your rings or your makeup brushes or whatever. See, I'm reinforcing that Ranger's new alcohol ink colors are absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious. I'm telling you, you've got to get some. And they are available now, along with 5 new alloy colors. And I have those. I just haven't had a chance to use those yet, but I can't wait to make a video with those new alloys. I saw Tim Holtz do some stuff from Creativation 2020 with them, and they look absolutely delicious to play with. I can't wait. So I will be using those in another video. So let's dry off the alcohol ink that we put on the inside of the tray, making sure that the surface of the tray is coated evenly with alcohol inks. I love how that looks. And I used 5, I think it was 5 of the greens to create the green that I'm using on this tray. And I want to say at least 3, if not all 5, but at least 3 of the greens are the brand new green colors that just came out. Whoa! I'm so excited to use new alcohol ink colors. They just don't come out with new colors very often. So between that and the new colors I just bought of the Piñata line, because they also have some new colors out, It's just a very exciting time to be playing with alcohol inks. I love it when new colors come out. It's almost better than finding new shoes. I said almost better. I'm not quite that crazy, but I do love it when some alcohol ink colors come out. I love me some new alcohol ink colors. Yes, I do. So I could have added gold foil or something to this at this point, but just decided not to. I figured that the 3 canisters with all the flowers were enough decoration. And here you go. That's what they look like all put in the tray. I hope that you enjoyed this fast-paced video. I had a great time putting it together for you. I would really love it if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm glad you took time out of your busy day to spend some time with me today. I'm Queen Katherine, and I love putting videos together for you guys. I hope you learned something. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.